Hi guys. Happy Thursday. It's almost 1 o'clock. I just came on a few minutes early so that Instagram would have a moment to let you know that we were going live before we dug into the really juicy stuff with Chris. So today is the last day of our scheduled join talks. We'll likely do another one of these series because they've been super informative and really, really well received. We're all still coming down from the great week that we had at our first virtual trade show. We partnered with Candid Design, who hosted us on their platform, Candid Open. And it was a huge learning curve for everyone. But in all, I think it turned out really great, and we had really great results. So it was really also exciting to bring in over 50 merchants or studios for this event, and that was really exciting. We love having new people. So today I will be talking with Merchant Method. Chris Guillot is the woman behind Merchant Method, and we are going to be talking about kind of this unique experience that we're all having, where the lack of in-person events has made connecting with people more challenging. And we're all, whether you're a studio or you're a shop owner, we're all looking for ways to connect with our audience. And so what are the best ways that we can do that? Chris is a master of utilizing the Instagram tool, and if you've been following her at all, you would know this, but if you're not, you should definitely start following Merchant Method. Her videos are super informative and insightful. She's honest and funny, and super smart. So just a little bit of a background on this before I invite her in, because I see that she's here. Chris and I worked together a couple of years ago, and I was looking for someone to help me with pivoting my business and just kind of really taking the next step into who I was as a businesswoman and growing the business to the next level. And so I hired Chris at Merchant Method, and it was amazing. I cried a lot. It was kind of like therapy for my business. Every week I would go and it would seem so hard, and we would struggle together, but she was so supportive and wonderful, and I'm super excited to invite her in to share and bestow a little bit of her knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead and invite her in. Here she comes. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm so good. Excited to see your face again for the second time today because I watched your first video this morning.
I'm getting my Rebekah time and I love it.
That's good. It was really good. I was at the perfect point in the morning where I could stop and listen to your video live, which was awesome. But I have also gone back and watched multiple of your videos after the fact when I'm not so busy like writing things or doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we are so grateful to have you here today, Chris. I was just telling everyone, I think you were listening, but how grateful I was for you and the impact that you made on my business when we worked together a couple of years ago. It was definitely a changing point for my business, and you had lots of amazing things to share with me, and I learned a lot, and I'm grateful that I can be able to bring that to the Join community now. And yeah, so let's get it started.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So you wrote up this like really great format. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, here's my printed version with my own introduction notes.
I love it.
You'd be proud of me.
I always am.
Oh God. So let's just get it going. Do you want to take the reins? Because I think this is your foray.
Yes. So I just want to say to everyone who's here at MGG Studio, Casa Arts, GDS Clothing, Victoria, Lake Jonathan, oh my gosh.
There's a lot.
Design, Stacy Wong Handmade. Thank you so much for being with Rebekah and I. Jen, thank you for being recording with Rebekah and I. I'm really excited. I'm passionate about the work that you do as a small business owner and as a creative entrepreneur. And I am so inspired by that work. And I think the world is better when you succeed. It would be boring without your work in it.
Yeah.
And so like, that's why I'm here today when Rebekah asked me to be with you and connect with you about using live video. So I'll just like dive right into it. That's a little bit about me. So here's the thing I love about live video. About 4 months ago, I put a poll out there to ask people that I know, if you're on Instagram, are you very extroverted or are you shy? And like literally everyone that answered raised their hand and said, shy seller over here.
Yeah.
So the first thing to know about video, I just like, is you probably already know this about being social, like really being social on social media, is that you get to do it in the way that you want. While it's a public platform, you're not interacting with everyone in the world and you can still have your boundaries. So
Yeah.
you don't actually have to be anyone else other than who you already are right now and how you want to grow and develop. That's like number one.
Yeah.
The other reason why I like video is because it's so extremely flexible. With the way that the world is right now in 2020 and with the devices we have in our pockets, you literally can just press go live and have an opportunity to create a meaningful relationship with someone, right?
That's so great.
Like,
yeah.
It's how you and I have stayed connected since 2015.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can do that. Now, you know, when it comes to marketing, if like marketing is this big concept and content marketing is kind of fits within marketing, live video is meant to make what can feel like a very heavy lift just a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Right? Just a little bit lighter. And what with the flexibility that you get from live stream video, it's like whatever happens, happens. It's endearing, actually, and we're all human. And so when we talk about the vulnerability, right, of like being vulnerable, like forgetting to turn your mic on is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like I taught a 2-hour workshop on Monday, and twice after a break, I forgot to turn my mic back on and my lips are going, and I'm like, it is what it is, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think too, like in the curated space that Instagram can be, it's a chance for us to share that vulnerable side. And I think that's such a great point to make, is that you sometimes forget that there's real people here, and that behind all of these creative businesses are real, genuine people with feelings and emotions and sweat, blood, and tears in their passion, whatever that is. And so to be able to see those moments, as much as it's hard when you've gone through the embarrassing moment of this thing, as a consumer of those moments, I appreciate them and know that it's kind of that little pat on the back that we're all in the same boat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, too, one of the things that is a thing that we miss just as human beings and as creatives and people who actually sell things to other people is being in the same room. Mm-hmm. And in fact, live video, whether it's an interview like this or not, is an opportunity to try and not one for one replace it, but to develop a different kind of connection.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why
I like it.
So when it comes to video versus just posting, right? Like video versus posting on the feed, or video versus a reel, or video versus a story, like live video, what we're doing, we're just like, who knows what's happening? My son's talking in the background.
Yeah.
Internet might go out. To me, all of it is kind of live video, right? You record a story, you might look at it for a little bit, you might take a second take, still pretty live and off the cuff. A reel gives you an opportunity to edit a little bit more, still live video. A Zoom call, still live video. Yeah. It's all up for grabs. If you're not highly producing it, and who honestly has time for that? Yeah. It is all in this realm of being able to connect in a genuine way. So whether or not you, merchant watching with Rebekah and I, ever want to go on Instagram Live, there's like something in here for you because
Mhm.
we're all using video.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, that's a good point to make that
All right.
all of those things are live. Oh,
So we got a, oh, can you hear me? Did
yeah.
I lose you?
Nope,
Okay.
I'm here.
So we got a great question from GD Clockets.
Yeah.
And the question was, there was a couple. So I'll just read them because they're all really good. How
Yeah.
do you prepare?
Hmm.
Is there a sweet spot in terms of length?
Hmm.
What sort of content do you create after your live? So those were the three questions. And
Yeah.
then we shared what they've been doing is turning their conversations into transcribed blog posts.
Yeah,
So
that's a
like
lot of
kind of
work.
three questions. And I think it boils down to like a common question I get asked, which is like, where do you go? Like, where's the best place to go live and how long
Right.
should it be?
Yeah.
Rebekah, I'm curious, when you go live or when you're thinking about video, where do you, like, how do you decide where you're going to go? And how do you decide for how long?
Ooh, well, I have been known to be long-winded.
Bye-bye.
Um, and I also have a lot of meandering thoughts, and I am not good at corralling thoughts that like interject. And so sometimes I have a point and I totally get diverted. And sometimes I think that's okay. And other times I'm annoyed at myself and I'll go like erase and re-record and get back to the point. But your question about where, all of my lives for the most part have been on Instagram. I haven't for my business done anything on Zoom necessarily, unless I'm joining somebody else's event, not anything for my own self. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the question?
I think probably like intuitively, you spend most of your time going live on Instagram because you're familiar with it and that's where
Right.
your customers are and that's
Yeah.
where your like audience is.
Yeah.
So I would say when it comes to picking a platform, meet people where they're already at. Like
Right.
truly. I think we tend to want to optimize for the best, highest level of performance when we might just be needing to just do the thing anyway.
Right.
Right? So, you know, it's so funny. I learned how to skateboard last year and I learned how to roller skate last year and I learned how to swim last year. I did like a lot of firsts.
You're so amazing.
Well, I don't know. I'm just kind of like trying to figure it out because I didn't learn some basic skills as a kid. And when I was looking at roller skates, my husband was teasing me because he was saying, you're trying to optimize for something you don't do yet. And so
Oh,
like
right.
you can buy, hi, Luca.
They started saying hi.
Hi.
There's Luca and Polly over there.
He was saying you can just buy a great skate and then you can buy an amazing skate later. So when it comes to like platforms, same thing. And when it comes to length, the amount of time to be on video, let yourself experiment between what works really, really well for your customers, what works
Right.
well for your audience, and what are you willing to commit to? Because
Right.
I think one of the harder things as creative entrepreneurs who really like flexibility and freedom,
Yeah.
committing to something that you dread doing
Mhm.
is the worst. It's
Yeah.
the worst. Like, I used to do this thing and now I have to do it every week, right? You don't want to do that. Like, let the length vary. Decide on what you can commit to, but consistency is good. The best that you can do it. But the thing to know about live videos, people pop in and out. Like even
Yeah.
in our stream, people are going to pop in and out.
Right.
It's fine. I think the thing to remember about live video is that there's just as much value in the replay as
Yeah.
there is in the live experience.
Right.
So, you know,
Yeah.
like you, Rebekah, I'm long-winded. I like doing really dense 1 hour
Yeah.
lives, and I've done them week after week after week. For some people,
Yeah.
that's way too much.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, good. I'm glad that that makes sense for you. Experimenting is good.
Yeah.
So then the other piece of the question was, what sort of content do you create after your lives? Is there something that you do after your lives, Rebekah, to repurpose the content or to like make the most of it?
So I went on a bit of a like rampage rant about this the last week because I have experimented with and paying attention to like how I use the app too, like the things that I do when I'm like um, when I am revisiting content from people has made me has been really telling to what I should do as well. So there's times at night where that's when I can catch up on stuff that happened, and so I'll lay in bed and watch stories for a little while. But my husband is an early to bed guy, and so if I'm not sitting there with earbuds, I'm sometimes watching the content without sound on, and so I found that captions have been helpful. So I thought I was going to try and do some of that. And that is very hard to do. And also you have to listen to your voice over and over and over again while you're like feverishly like trying to type out a caption for each one of those stories. So in one sense, it's made me be a little less long-winded because I don't want to type as many things at the point. So I've been able to like learn from that. But the other thing, the other part of my rant was that like with with Reels, people are getting a lot of engagement from Reels, and I have noticed even my own Reels getting a lot of engagement and a lot of views, and it's amazing and it's wonderful, and I'm glad that we have this new tool to use. But I love the ones that are like highly curated. Edited with, pleasing music. And so I wanted to create that intent, which is a multi-step, multi-layered, multi-app type of experience. And I was spending way too much time creating that. And so I guess I just needed to, in hindsight, what I figured out for myself was that I need to save that stuff for like, package it up for a while and then deliver some like juicy little things along the way. It's not going to be an everyday tool for me.
Yeah. I think for GDS clothing, I think the thing here too is the content pillars. Like when you think about repurposing content, it really is this whole thought around content marketing and positioning your content as the bridge between a customer's like really their wants and needs and problems and aspirations, and your product and your brand experience as a solution, and like finding the pillars. And like I found, like I spent like my 2017 or my 2018 working with someone who's the queen of content repurposing. And what I found was she took the exact thing I already said and put it out there over and over and over again.
Right. Yeah.
And like I myself cannot hear the same words and learn from it. Like I need to hear things differently.
Yeah.
A few times in a few different ways across time for me to really internalize it. And so I found that clipping down things, putting audio overlays over pictures was actually not valuable for me. It felt kind of old and stale. And so I found like as soon as I developed content pillars, and these are the things that like y'all can go off on like all the time because you're so passionate about them.
Yeah.
Anytime someone put a keypad in front of your fingers or a video, you could talk about them. And so for me, that's the more powerful repurposing of content than re-editing down the same thing over and over. The thing to know though about Instagram is it is not SEO searchable. Like the only thing you can search is your bio. And so you just have to like not be wanting to play that very, very long, competitive, ad-driven game that is SEO for the content you have in this community. It's, you just have to decide that that's okay, that you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. That Reels thing, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work for 15 seconds. I was spending like 2 hours on it and I was so mad at myself, and then it like wouldn't work, and music wasn't right or whatever. It saved without music on one of the slides. I mean, it was torture. That was a lot. Yeah, I was like, okay, I like Reels and I want to use them, but I'm going to find a way to like make it my own and use it sparingly.
Yeah.
And with purpose and intention.
Video coaches. Yes, I love it. One of my favorite video coaches was a former CNN producer. And
Oh,
like her approach is to really start with the end in mind so that
yeah.
everything happens with intention. And that actually takes a lot of practice and a lot of timing to be able to work that way and create along the way. And she's really good at that. But sometimes like we're just like creating on the fly.
Yeah.
We're doing things on the fly. Yeah.
Yes. I think that, Chris, that working backwards from the end is one of the things that I learned from you. And maybe like I'm not an expert at it, but when we were working together, that was the thing that was most apparent to me, is that I am very on the fly. I create everything I do on the day, even my to-do list. It's like, I mean, obviously I have a building to-do list that runs throughout the week, but your way of executing a timeline was something I had never experienced before. And when you could see the timeline in a linear way and I couldn't, that was just amazing. It was the best thing that I had ever seen before. It was so helpful. I mean, to go from point Z and see all the points going back to point A, and knowing what you had to do within those things and how long each one of those things took, that was incredible for me, and so helpful to have your brain work that way.
Oh, yay! I'm so glad. I think those are the things too, as small business owners, are the things that we like doing is where our competencies are, right? Like designing jewelry, designing graphics, like working with your, like all that is like the strength, and that's in the product management. And then the project management is where like you learn the skill. Same for me. Like I like doing this core of this thing, and then everything else you just kind of like learn along the way. And you're like, oh, it takes this long. I need to do this thing. I need to set myself up well for this. It really is about planning backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know one of the things that you wanted us to chat about was like, how do you prepare for something like this? Like, how do you prepare to go live? Because more and more people are going live. Customers actually much prefer live video than any other medium when it comes to learning about products. And you want your customers to learn about your products because you put a lot of effort and heart and soul and inspiration into them.
Right.
So there's just more and more of this, like live video. And I think when it comes to preparing, it really, for me, like the hat that I put on is like, how do I host this experience the best way that I can host the experience? Because if it's a two-way conversation like we're having with this join community, or if it's a one-way, like a one person on camera conversation, we're still navigating people through an experience, right? Like how do we welcome people? How do we reveal a story? How do we make sure it's compelling? And so I usually start with asking myself, I'm laughing because my son is talking. He's having social hour in the other room too. Can you hear him?
I can hear him. Yeah.
Y'all,
it's okay. We're all home.
It's a small group social hour, and he's very enthusiastic.
He's probably saying the same thing about you, Chris. Can't you hear my mom talking? I said he's saying the same thing about you.
Oh, yeah. Is like starting by asking, like, what is the compelling reason for people to be here? Like, if I had one thing that I wanted to make sure that I expressed, or one thing I wanted to make sure I heard in this live stream experience, what is that one thing?
Right.
Because usually one thing is enough to guide. It's just a lot. And I think we tend to want to do a lot of things.
Yes.
So even a really simple outline, even on a Post-it, works really well. There are times too where my lives are like so on the fly. I just sketch note and I just draw pictures on a little map, and I let that guide a whole full-on conversation, because that's all I have time to do was sketch out an outline.
Wow.
So that whole picture thing, because y'all know this, you're creatives, are really good prompts. And so if you watch my lives, you'll see that sometimes I'll call up images on my screen. That actually helps guide me. That's a cue for me.
Right.
if I just have a picture with post-its or like a post-it with pictures, that helps guide me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think just like a really simple outline. And then if you see lots of people popping on and off,
Mm-hmm.
to feel comfortable to say, hey, if you're just joining us, we're talking about this.
Right.
Um,
That's a good point.
but it just, the ability to like manage through a live video and a live conversation gets honed every time you press live, and just feeling comfortable that the learning curve is public and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get better by doing.
I think you're great at it. So like, what are the things that you've done to help you prepare for all of your lives?
Well, I think what's maybe not well, I guess this is preparing, but like you said, just kind of putting yourself out there. And then in the experiences and the interactions that I had following my own live videos where I received so much interaction from people via replies to the stories or whatever it was. That's the most telling right there, is that you're creating community with people because they're engaged. They heard what you had to say and they had something to say in return. And so I think for me, those have been the best things for kind of learning on the go. So just getting out there and doing it, and then seeing what people are interacting with. And also it's like time and place. They always say that there's like the best time to send an email to get opens. There's the best day to send the emails to make sales. And I'm not going to be a guru enough to delve into that data to know whether people hit on my video because it was a Monday versus it was a Wednesday. I don't care about that. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But when I do get engagement from people, that's how I know, I guess. It's just that when people say, I loved hearing that, or, oh my gosh, I need this piece in my life because I shared it with them, or I love your studio space. I'm inspired to get organized now. Like those have been my conversations that I've had this week, and I love it. And so I'm going to continue to post in that way because people like it.
Show up for the ones that show up, like show up back for the ones that show up. That
right?
really is. And, I think this whole concept of the best day to post, the best time to post, it's for when you can actually show up and commit to it.
Right.
That really that is what it is.
Right. It's the best day for you. This is your business. Yeah.
So funny. It's true though. It's true.
Yeah, it is.
So let's see. Organizing our thoughts. Oh, we should talk about keeping things fun and engaging.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I haven't had actually any replies this morning to it, but I mean, like for me, it's the honesty. Like it's just being real out here. Like those are the things that I think are funny, and those are the things that I think are engaging and wonderful and delightful about someone's stories, is when I can see real. And obviously, like I'm a person. Like my business is my name. So it's going to be me, and it's going to be genuine. And the thing that I get a lot of comments on from people is when they meet me in person, they're like, oh, you're just like your Instagram. And that makes me laugh because I'm like, well, of course I am. Like, they're like, no, but you're so genuine. I'm like, well, what else would I be? I don't know. I mean, I guess that I could be an asshole or, something like that, but I like the pieces that I give to people, which is pretty much 99% of me. You guys get it. My Instagram gets it, not Join Design. I forget I'm on the Join Design page, but they get me, and this is me. And so when I come out and I'm being silly and funny, that's legit, and those are my legit thoughts. And so in turn, I like those things from people. And so those things are the things that keep me engaged.
Yeah. It's so funny. You're just like your Instagram.
I'm right.
Oh, the one of my mentors, I think in the beginning of 2019, was really encouraging me to like operate with a persona,
Mm,
with this idea that if you really lean into a persona, it helps with some of the neurolinguistic programming that people associate with your message. And I was telling her, I'm like, I don't really have a particular persona because I'm not anyone who I'm not, right? Like
right.
I don't have enough space in my brain
No,
to like totally be a different person.
no. And I
I'm
think
like,
I would like fault back to like who I really am, and then you would be like confused.
wah, wah, yeah.
Oh, that's the real me. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to like having fun, before you press the live button, like everyone gets nervous. If someone
Hmm.
tells you they don't get nervous, it's either because they have a career of going live
Right.
and they enjoy the physical feeling that comes with it. So you
Mm.
and I might call it nerves. They might call it like adrenaline or
Hmm.
like excitement, right? It's just like being so intimate about where that feeling is in your body and just being like, that's a feeling in my body. Cool. I'm going anyway. And over time, that feeling and like when it starts to happen, um, gets shorter and shorter as you have more opportunities to practice.
Hmm.
And when you take a break, it's just kind of like, if you're a runner and then you don't run for 4 months,
Right.
when you get back to it, it takes a little bit of time. So I think the pushing the button and going live is just like a muscle. It's just you got to
Yeah.
get used to it over time.
I definitely had that experience so the last week when we did all of our lives. So we did these interviews with all of our makers here, and they were super fun and engaging. But I will tell you what, day one, I was sweating. I was a ball of nerves. I was impatient with myself and my family. I mean, it was a lot. And by the end of that day, I was like, get me a freaking drink. I need to calm down. I am kind of a wreck. And but by day 5, I was good to go. I had spent at least an hour and a half for 4 full days interviewing. I can't even remember how many different people we interviewed, but there were at least 4 or 6 people each day. And it was a lot. But you're right that that muscle totally got used and worked. And by the end of it, I felt very comfortable doing it. And today, it's been over a week now since I had done a live video. But today I felt the sense of those feelings creep in, and I reminded myself of my feelings after it was done. On Friday, how I felt accomplished, I felt great. The content that I was curious about delivering was delivered, and it was good, and the response was great. And so it was. I had to remind myself of that, and also it was nice because today I'm meeting with somebody who I'm very comfortable with, and I knew that that would show.
Yeah, same here, Rebecca. Like I started live streaming on Facebook in, I don't know when,
Yeah.
2015 or 2016. Live streaming to YouTube on a bunch of like unlisted secret private links. And I stepped away from that in March and I went back to live streaming on Facebook on Tuesday and it didn't work well. Like what I was producing on my iPad was me and my guest, and we were having a great interview, but what was streaming to Facebook was just me. And people were commenting. And I'm just like, y'all, I'm recording it, don't worry. This is like,
Yeah.
what could I do? I can't do anything about it. I gotta leave this
Right.
right. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I will post it later. Like the
Yeah.
technology changes, all of that changes. And I think
Yeah.
separating what's in your control versus what's not in your control makes things fun. And
Yeah.
focusing in on what you can control is fun. So sometimes, particularly early on in the beginning, you may be streaming to no one or one person. It's really rare on Instagram to stream to no one. On Facebook and YouTube, it is very common to be streaming to not a single person.
Interesting.
And so I think um, keeping in mind that what you're creating is an expression that can be saved makes that a little easier, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, the whole point of this is it's going to be saved and preserved, and I
Yeah.
want it to have value, whether or not anyone's joining me live.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is there are a few ways to play with the fun factor before and after. So sometimes I like to post polls. You do this too, Rebekah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I post polls and I ask questions of my audience beforehand, and then I do the reveal during the live videos.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I don't have time to do that, I'll just ask questions.
Yeah.
So like for those of you, the 10 of you that are with us live, how many of you are live streaming to Instagram in some way, shape, or form using stories? So if you just want to type I am, or whatever you want to type, like IG live in the house, whatever you want to say, just type in the comments, because I'm curious how many of you are already live streaming. And like, that's a fun way to ask a question, let people respond, vamp, tell a story. I started live streaming, blah, blah, blah. And then the comments start to roll in.
CJ.
So do we know who CJK Lika is?
I do not know her.
All right, awesome. So they live stream, GDS Cloth Goods live stream. Yes, I know Sam live streams.
Yes, Sam does. Those are great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know we have live streamers in here. You shy people. It's okay, you can comment.
It's a comment. We got a me from Sam.
Perfect. I was like, I know you do. Oh, Rachel.
I need to be.
I don't want you to feel pressured. Honestly, like, it's so easy to say I need to be doing these things, and you do not actually have to be if you don't have space for it in your strategy. Like, the last thing I want you to do is add something on top of a strategy that already feels thin to begin with.
Yeah.
Just like stick with what works.
I think that to me, that's what I felt about Reels. Like, I enjoyed like the first couple that I made, but then it just made me feel tapped out. Like it took everything out of me to do that. And so I recognized that it was pissing me off and that was not to my benefit. And I will do them again, but that's such a good point.
Yeah, I just did not hop onto the Reels thing because there's so many bad Reels out there. Like, so many bad Reels.
Yeah.
People are copying each other, and like when you listen to too many outside voices, you kind of lose what's important to you.
Right.
So it's okay, Rachel. You do what's right for you in the time that is right for you. And at some point, video will be in the fold or it won't.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Yeah. So I think that like brings us to one of the questions that you had asked, Rebekah, which is so many, you had asked me, like, so many businesses want to do the first hello on video. Oh, let's hop on a video conference call. Let's do an introductory call. Like, the number of introductory calls I had in March and April with full-on strangers, like full-on strangers was on video, right? And so I get like,
yeah,
right.
That I'm feeling that because I feel like that's what I like in my thinking about what I want to do for my business and how I want to pivot and be in person with my main purpose right now, I feel like, is I want to talk to merchants. I want them, I miss seeing them at trade shows, and I feel like the best place that you can learn about my work is from me. And yeah, you can look at pretty pieces of jewelry online, and there's probably people who could buy my jewelry without that, but I would love to be able to have those introductory meetings with a shop that was interested in me to kind of develop a relationship, but that is making me so nervous. Do you have some tips for getting through that, and maybe how to generate something like that?
I think probably what helps me, just as like a person, as like another person who like loves to communicate but also is full of nerves.
Yeah.
Is being aligned on like what the purpose of the call is. And as long as like you and the other person are aligned, then the rest of it is going to be whatever it is. So if
Right.
it's introductory, fantastic. Questions should be around that. Tell me about yourself. What is your worth? What are you looking for? What is your community like? Those, if it's an introductory call, keep it to that. And the expectations should be kept to that as well. Because business to business relationships takes longer to cultivate than a relationship with a customer.
Right.
And so it can feel like the first call has to be the call. Things develop over time.
Right. Good point.
And also, two people have to come to that conversation, right? And so I don't want anyone to ever feel like they have to do all of the lifting. The other person kind of has to show up too and be part of the conversational juggling and magic.
Exactly. Yeah. Good point.
And so, you know, typically when I set meeting invites, I might put in the body of the invite, like the purpose of this call is, or I'm really looking forward to hopping in this call to X.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
The
Z.
Yeah. I stay really true to that as my brain prepares.
Yeah.
You know, it'll go in the direction that it goes, but there's only, you know, it just makes it easier to show up to those things.
Yeah. You're definitely revealing your experience here in this moment. Oh, that's
Does anyone
good.
have questions? Questions.
I'm gonna go back over your list and see if I can derive any of my own questions from these. Oh, I know what one of my questions was. It's not actually on your list here, but can you tell me what apps that you're using to help you with your interviews? Because you mentioned this earlier where you pop up the video in the video you pop up a slide and then your image is there. I have not been able to figure that out. And I would like to know how to do that function because I accidentally popped a picture and my I don't know if I can figure out how to do it now, or maybe you can walk me through it so we can show people because it's insane. It's so crazy how you could do this. I just couldn't also figure out how to make it go away.
Yeah, so if you are hosting a live just yourself or with an interview, there's going to be a row of buttons on the bottom of your screen. And one of them actually is your camera roll.
Okay.
So Rebekah, do you see on the bottom right your camera roll?
Yes.
You tap it once and it opens the whole roll.
Okay.
In reverse chronology. So the most recent picture shows up on the left. And as you scroll, the pictures get older and older.
Got it.
So if you just tap on one of those,
okay,
it is a PIP or a picture-in-picture.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to.
There you go.
Okay, that's really stupid. That's me, but okay.
No, but it's perfect. So that's a great example because I don't want to see those those sexy photos you send Dan.
Oh my God. That does not happen. Okay.
And then to make it go away,
yes,
you tap on the camera roll again, and then you scroll to where it has the no symbol, and that clears it.
Okay.
Like you would swipe to the right to get to the leftmost.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then you'll get the no symbol.
You're so awesome.
So that's how you do it.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. You guys, that is so cool.
The value, so on a teeny tiny screen like Instagram, you need to be you need to be thoughtful about how you use picture in picture because you want people to have a conversation with you and then the camera gets teeny tiny.
Right. Yeah.
So in the same way that
the camera gets really tiny for myself too. So like so your picture of me, that's what you're saying. Sorry.
Right. So like how people would experience Rebekah in that moment is teeny tiny.
Exactly.
And so you have to be really thoughtful about about what you're featuring, about how important your words are in the moment, but they're extremely helpful for guiding a conversation, particularly as people pop on and off. And so like I did an interview this morning with Jen Magofia and Lauren Coe of Local Kitchen. And I knew people would be popping on and off, and I had questions I was curious about.
Yeah.
And so having supporting copy is really valuable. So I love to do that. And I just create mine in Canva.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's awesome.
Really simple. And then my favorite non-software piece of app is this thing.
What is that?
It is a USB drive that goes from my phone with a lightning thing to my computer. So I can mass import and export videos and photos back and forth without using all of my data. Because in a 28 or 27 day period, my house can go through 1 terabyte of data.
Right.
Because I do so much video, and everyone in the house is live streaming.
Yeah.
So it just kind of saves it so I can work back and forth from phone to.
Right. And the content that you share is so valuable. And like you were saying earlier, kind of being able to repurpose that information that you've shared and come to in the interviews that you have, and just thinking about how to make that useful for myself, being able to reshare that for a blog. I know, yes, Maria, I need that drive too. Being able to like reshare that information to your blog or to your newsletter, and creating a clickable link of where that stuff lives outside of Instagram, I think then that content becomes something that does have CSS, data to it, right? Because then it's more permanent. It's something shareable. It's something that the internet can find when it's not deep in the lore and lost in Instagram.
Right.
and owned by Instagram then too.
Right. So this is called, I feel like a makeup person. It's by Scan Disc. This is my eyeliner. It's by Scan Disc, and it's called I Expand, with the letter I, and then Expand Drive.
Nice.
So I love this.
Yes.
I love, not an app. These are hardware pieces. So like everything I do is native within Instagram because they do not like to play with third-party apps.
Yeah.
Anywhere else I live stream, I use a third-party app. I love a Bluetooth keyboard.
You showed this the other day, and I was dying. It's so awesome.
I love this thing. So it came as a kit with a little stand and a keyboard. And I traveled last year, and I was gone for over 10 days, and I didn't want to bring my laptop. And I was like, I can, we can run the back end of our businesses with our phones.
Yeah.
And so it makes it easy when you're live to just pop it open and type something in the comments.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge fan of any Bluetooth keyboard.
That is amazing. I like how it folds down and so small too. It's like the size of your phone.
Yes. And then like anything that holds your phone, right? Like I like your situation, Rebekah. Talk about it.
Did you see that? Did you see that before the show? Okay, good. Yes. Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen, my adapter for holding my phone so I could be hands-free is a $15 IKEA light. I bought it for my for trade shows because it's really small. It's LED and it's also USB compatible for power. And so I got it because I could just easily have a power strip on my my table at the trade show. So I have multiple of them, and I don't really need them in my studio. But I really liked how it was like bendy. And so I literally use packing tape, and I tape it to the light fixture, and then I can adjust it. So anytime you're on my Instagram and you see videos of my hands doing things, or you see these little interactions where I am not holding my phone, I am taped up to a bendy light from IKEA that cost me $15. So And also, like, I can strategically, if needed and it was dark, I could strategically turn the light on, and I think I could have like that ring light type of effect with it. So
I love it.
it's a little ghetto. It's not as cool as your Bluetooth, but
No, but the thing is like what works because no one's gonna see it.
right,
Like
yeah.
I have a lighting kit and I don't use it anymore. I just, you know, those little lights that spiral, those LED photo lights. I just put
Mm-hmm.
them in my lamps
Oh yeah, nice.
because I don't need the kit, right? So then like my room is always like really nicely lit. Sometimes I'll just turn on my iPad and that's enough light to. So I'll show you the difference. My iPad's off right now.
Okay.
But sometimes there's just enough light to like have it give you enough light.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah.
You can kind of see a glow, right?
Yep, I can.
Sometimes that's enough light.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the down and dirty nitty gritty details of making Instagram function and work better for everybody. That's awesome. Oh, this is so good. Well, let's see. Okay. Yep. I'm just checking my notes and looking back at all of the questions that we had.
Rachel saying MacGyver.
Yeah. Rachel, head on over to my page and look at my photo. I put a photo of it before I went live because I'm all about sharing. I don't want to be the only one with the cool light adjuster. Well, Chris, I think we've hit all of the nails on the head, and no one's come up with any other questions, so we must have been excellent at coming up with all the answers before they had questions.
I love it.
Do you have anything that you want to tell us about? How can we support you in your business, and what are you up to these days?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned like your style of just like being a bit of a maverick, right?
Mhm.
And I think we all have our own styles of how we run our businesses. And if you're curious about your own style and how to be successful within your own style, you should definitely head over and take a quiz I have on my website. And that's all around finding success with where you are right now. Because you do not need to be like me. You do not need to be like Rebekah. There are ways that you can take advantage of the lessons to be learned, and they'll kind of embed it in your own style. So if you go to merchantmethod.com, there is a quiz there that I think could be really, really fun.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'll probably go
Yeah.
take that myself. I'm a different person than I was when I first started working with you, so my answer might be a little different. I guess not different person. I'm the same person. I'm a different businesswoman. I think that's the actual answer there. And it looks like you have a content marketing program. Is that what this is?
Yeah. So I am teaching what's called the Infinite Content Method, and it's a creating your content pillars so that you don't have to think so hard about what you're going to post.
Oh,
and
there we go.
It's a way. Pardon?
I said, oh, there we go.
Yeah, and so it's a way of really taking what we know to be true about marketing, which is positioning a physical product as a solution to a customer's problems, and actually making it real. And after the workshop, you basically have this amazing library of content pillars to be able to turn to at any point and know that at some point, you don't have to sell. You're
Right.
positioning yourself as like really, truly, genuinely solutions.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it's been really fun to teach. I'm in the middle of teaching it for the Alliance for Pioneer Square. That's been really fun.
Nice.
And I've taught it to a few of my merchants. And so the workshop is coming up at the end of October. I'm opening it up next week. I'm excited.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to look for that for sure. That sounds totally something up my alley. So I think it's always good to be able to kind of refocus, and especially now. I mean, life feels a little bit different. And so, what a better way to reinvigorate yourself than kind of helping yourself pivot and understand where you're at right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, if anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot them into our DMs or anything like that. I'm happy to follow up with anything, or certainly reach out to myself or Chris if you have any questions. We're here for you. And I think that's it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks so much
Thanks
for being here, Chris.
It was fun.
It was fun. All right, you guys, enjoy your Thursday. Have a great weekend and take care.
Bye.
Bye, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.